The short passages that begin this section are excerpted from stories in the previous editions of the Basic Text. Reflections. It was suggested to me that I start an NA meeting in my area. I was frightened and didn't think I had enough clean time. My friends told me that I could be miserable as long as I wanted to be. With the help of God and other addicts, that meeting began and continues to thrive. I want to keep what has been given to me, so I actively share through loving service to NA, wherever and however I am asked. The spirit of this fellowship is in me today. I've come to know unconditional love. I was 5'5" tall and weighed 282 pounds. I ate compulsively to try to handle my feelings and emotions and to make me feel better. As a matter of fact, this is how I originally got into using heavy drugs. I wanted to lose weight so desperately that I became willing to use heroin. I thought I would be smart enough not to get hooked, that I could use and lose my appetite, feel good, and outsmart the game. I bounced around the country and ended up in penitentiaries and jails. This was the beginning of the end. Not only was I a compulsive overeater and remained fat, but I was also addicted to the drugs I was using. When I came to this program, I found something that I had never experienced before. Total acceptance for who I and what I was. I was invited to keep coming back to the fellowship. It told me there were no fees or dues, that I had already paid my dues via my past life, that if I kept coming back, I would find total freedom and a new way of life. There is no question about it. I owe my life to Narcotics Anonymous, Fellowship, and God. So much had been going really good. I had a diploma, a brand new car, a driver's license, and a good relationship with my parents. My girlfriend was seeing a therapist who told her we should get involved in something together, like starting an NA meeting in our area. The closest NA meeting was over an hour away, and there were only two a month at that. After we started the meeting, she got high and moved out. My best friend had been getting high for a while and started going out together. And that really ripped me up inside. I had a dog who I cried to every night, and he couldn't even stand it and ran away. Since I started this NA meeting, I continued to go, and the meeting grew. Here I was with 2 years, crying in the meeting, feeling sorry for myself and depressed, and having newcomers with 30 days clean telling me it would be better. Be grateful for what you have, and keep coming back. People who were new in the fellowship would come over to my house and 12-step me. They kept coming back. They told me they loved me. I was depressed for 2 months like that, and during that time, 2 more meetings started. I was making 3 meetings a week and started working steps. I was getting involved in our area service and started being grateful for everything I had. I was so grateful to be alive, and I believe that it was because of the NA fellowship. I remember feeling like I didn't belong in NA because pot was really my problem, although I hadn't used other drugs. I read the little white pamphlet, Narcotics Anonymous. It said, an addict was someone who lived to use and used to live, and that our lives and thinking were centered on getting and using drugs. That sounded like me. Then it said that they didn't care what drug I used, and the only requirement for membership was the honest desire to stop using. I thought, well, maybe, just maybe, they would let me stay. I started going to a meeting every day where I talked with another addict. The members told me they needed me and I began to feel a part of. I attended regularly and tried to support in new meetings. I learned about the steps and tried to work them I didn't use. I took inventories, I made amends, and I prayed. That's one of the things I'm grateful for, is having the freedom to have a God as I understood him. One day I realized I was being freed from my addiction. The obsession and the compulsion were no longer the dominating force in my life. Growing spiritually was. A year before I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I found myself hopelessly addicted to cough syrup, drinking 5 or 6 4-ounce bottles a day. I needed help, so I went to a doctor. He prescribed Dexedrine and would give me a shot that made me feel good. I found myself going to him practically every day. This continued for about 8 months, and I was very happy with my newfound legal addiction. I was also getting codeine from a different doctor. I now became insanely afraid and began drinking too. This went around the clock for a month, and I ended up in a mental institution. After being released from the hospital, I thought I was free from narcotics, and now I could drink socially. I soon found out I could not. It was then that I sought help from NA. Here I learned that my real problem did not lie in the drugs that I had been using, but in a distorted personality that had developed over the years of my using, and even before that. In NA, I was able to help myself with the help of others in the fellowship. I find I am making progress and facing reality, and I'm growing. A day at a time, I find new interests now that mean something, and realize that this was one of the things I was looking for in drugs. I had a job, and I was working steadily, but my life wasn't working. I was still drug dependent. This was the beginning of the end, the start of my recovery. I was in a state of hopeless desperation. I just wanted to lie down and die. I looked for a methadone program, but none were available. My boss asked me the next day what was wrong with me. Before I knew it, I was telling him the truth. I said I was a drug addict. He asked me if I wanted help. I told him yes. This was the first of many spiritual awakenings. I went to a hospital in Louisiana, and from there a halfway house. This is where I found Narcotics Anonymous. NA was the tribe I never had. I found the same type of people I had run with on the streets. There was something different about them. They had a peace I wanted. Today, I can look in the mirror and laugh at myself. I won't say I have a good self-image today, but it's better than it used to be. When I was using, I mastered the art of fight or flee. I would either run from a situation or fight it out, but never face it. Most of the time, it was me I was running from. The words serenity and surrender were foreign to my vocabulary. I am learning that I usually have as much serenity as I have surrendered. For half my life, I have been careening wildly through the sea of chaos and destruction. The program of Narcotics Anonymous has shown me serenity and direction. I am growing to realize that my experience can benefit those who still suffer. The freedom that I have always sought, I have found in the steps of the program.